Bird migration against the moon using a Nikon P1000 camera. This is another JDW Talks. My audience for this one are birders, lunatics, and lunatwitch. This was recorded in October of 2020. Do birds migrate to the moon? A long time ago, people wondered why bird species changed over seasons. Winter birds were different than summer bird species. Could they just transform from one to another? I mean, people believed in spontaneous generation then. Anything was possible. But then they noticed birds flying against the moon. So an idea formed that birds spent the winter on the moon. Today we know much more about bird migration and the fact that a lot of them migrate at night. So I decided I would go out and photograph those moonbirds. The Nikon P1000 has a moon setting. Why not use it for recording the nightly migration of birds against the moon's disk? So let's try. On October 4th and 5th, I set up my camera on a conventional tripod, and for an hour each night from 10 to 11 p.m. in Dana Point, California, I used the moon setting of the camera and took videos of the moon. Trying to get a snapshot of a moonbird, which I tried, is a futile task. That won't happen. Use the video. My method was to put the pretty full moon in the viewfinder of the camera with about a third of the top of the moon showing, and then film the moon as it moved up the camera's field of view. After I filmed for about 90 seconds, if I didn't see on the camera's viewfinder any activity, I immediately deleted the clip. If I did have something, I stopped the video and then took a still photo of the moon as a spacer to avoid deleting a segment that I wanted. So the first night, October 4th, I went out and I only got one hit. A very large object, a very large animal that was flapping. And it was confusing, so I asked a number of people, and the consensus was it was a bat, not a bird. And so I trimmed that sequence down from the original and slowed it to 1/16th of a speed using a program, an editing program. And the next sequence will show you that. So here we have the moon, and let's see if it's moving or not. If it is moving, you'll see the bat coming from the top. So let's advance it. Okay, now I have turned on the video. And come on, here it comes. 1/16th speed reduction. Kind of neat. On October 5th, I was able to actually record 3 birds within that 1 hour. And here is one of the sequences slowed down to 1/16th of a speed, trimmed. And this time I will start the video. And there he comes, left to right. The second sequence was a 1-minute sequence, and I didn't even see that I had 2 streaking birds on it. I decided to break that up into 2 segments for you. It slowed down to 1/4 of a speed, and on the camera's viewfinder, I thought while taking the video, I was seeing a satellite. And I didn't even see that first sequence of birds, which you'll see next. Okay, so This is the first sequence. This is, even though it's slowed down a quarter, I thought it's going so fast anyway that to give you that feeling for that. And you'll see the moving bird moving left to right at the top. Okay, so let's turn this video on. There he goes. See, it's a little bit out of focus. Actually, a lot out of focus. And then on that same video sequence, but at the end of that minute or so, you'll see the second bird on the lower part of the moon going in the same direction. I mean, that's what you would expect in a fall migration sequence. Okay, so let's turn on the video. Goes pretty fast, doesn't it? So what did I learn about taking the moonshots with the Nikon P1000? They were all taken with the moon setting. No other settings were used. I don't know if you can manipulate that. If I could have put the camera on an astronomy mount, that would compensate for the movement of the moon, so I could have taken longer videos. The camera obviously has the moon in focus, but the owl and the bat and birds were obviously closer to the camera and out of focus. I don't know if I could have switched the camera to manual mode, but it certainly was fun. So you've looked at a short sequence about bird migration against the moon using a Nikon P1000 camera. This is another JDW Talks on YouTube. I have a number of virtual birding field trips, Life of the Naturalist Adolphus Heermann, birding optics talks, and talks on owl pellets and moon watching at this point. I also have a number of genealogy talks, including U.S. and New York Census, city census talks, especially the ones, the U.S. talk that's going to become available in April of 2022, and Ellis Island talks, including how to find difficult people and the name change myth. And so I'll wait about 10 seconds and then I will end this video.